everybody. Hey, Hokie fans. This is Coach Mike Holmes, contributor with the Sons of Saturday, with the next installment of 10-Minute Tailgate. In each one of these episodes, we're going to try to provide you with a recipe and a drink, something to enhance your overall tailgating experience. It doesn't matter if you're in Blacksburg watching the game with 66,233 of your closest fans, or you're sitting at home, you can't make it that week for whatever reason. Let's give you something to stay a little bit more involved with the game day environment, the game day atmosphere. Before we get started, don't forget to hit subscribe and like the video. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Find the Sons of Saturday on X, Facebook, Instagram. Keep looking out for more YouTube shorts coming out from the boys. And don't forget to follow Pete B and Sam Jesse on the Two Deep podcast, as well as the boys at Sons of Saturday. What we're going to do today, we're playing Rutgers this week. This game means a lot to a lot of folks within the Sons of Saturday organization because a lot of those folks happen to be from the Garden State. Last year was an unfortunate trip. Kyle Monungai ran all over the Hokies, and it was a nightmare situation for a lot of the folks in orange and maroon. Even though we had a great tailgating experience, some of the folks can still hear that train horn blaring in the background. These guys this year, these Rutgers Scarlet Knights, are coming to Blacksburg. So what we're going to do today is we're going to try to bring a little bit of Jersey to your tailgate. That we're going to kind of take a version of the traditional pig in a blanket. We're going to kind of change it up a little bit, and we're going to use, depending on what part of Jersey you're from, pork roll or Taylor ham. And that is a debate for the ages. So we're going to make a pork roll pig in a blanket. For our drink, it's a traditional Jersey favorite. It's called the Bald Jack Rose, and it's an apple brandy cocktail. And if you can see here, I've already prepared half of these. So I took my Taylor ham, my pork roll, and I cut it into sticks that are about a half-inch wide, about the size, relatively close to the size of a hot dog that you would use for a pig in a blanket. And I also have some provolone cheese that I've also cut into similar size strips. And what we're going to do is we're going to take about 3 or 4 pieces of the provolone cheese and a piece of the pork roll. And we're going to kind of layer these pieces around the pork roll. And we're going to roll up in our dough, in our crescent roll dough, the pig in a blanket. So if you give me just a second, we'll do a few more of these and we'll finish up the recipe. So right now, our oven is preheating at 375 degrees. It is staying warm. These will take about 10 minutes or so, 10 to 12 minutes to cook. I am out here in beautiful Castle Rock, Colorado, and beautiful Castle Rock, Colorado, pastries and breads and things like that always take just a little bit longer. So we may be on that 13-minute side of things. We're layering our cheese on each side, and then we're rolling our crescent roll dough around each piece. Okay? One more of these to go. We'll get a couple of extra pieces of cheese for this one. Okay. All right. So now we've gotten all these rolled up. Okay. Our oven is preheated at 375. We're going to go ahead and drop these in for about 13 minutes. Okay. While this is going on, because it is essentially a hot ham and cheese, it is pork roll, it's ham, and a provolone. We're going to have a dipping sauce to go with it that is going to really favor those flavors. So we have some ground horseradish mustard here. And to that ground horseradish mustard, I am going to add about a half an ounce worth of honey. We're going to mix this up. Just kind of stir and blend all these flavors together. And this is going to be a unique honey mustard. It's going to have a little bit more of a bite to it than the traditional honey mustard that you might find in a store, but it's still going to be a little bit of sweet, a little bit of heat in your nose from the horseradish there. It's going to be beautiful. So we'll set that aside, move our extra provolone aside, and we'll leave that sitting right there while we wait for our pork roll, big pigs in a blanket, to finish up. So let's move over to our bald jack roes. So the bald jack roes, very simply, you're going to be using apple brandy. You can find any apple brandy that you can find will work. We're going to mix it with some lemon juice and a splash of grenadine. Grenadine, if you don't know, is a cherry flavored syrup. Has no alcohol in it, but it just adds to the flavor. Okay, so we have our shaker tin, we have our jigger. And so with this apple brandy, we're going to add 2 ounces of apple brandy. So this jigger is 1.5 ounces. So we're going to go 1.5 ounces, and we're going to go about another 1/2 ounce into that. Okay. We are going to then add 1/2 ounce of lemon juice. Drop that in there. And then the recipe calls for a splash of grenadine. So we're just going to kind of right there, give it a little splash of grenadine and see how that floats us. Okay, so we have our shaker tin. It is filled with ice. We're going to give it a good shake. All right. Then you can serve it in a martini glass. You can serve it in a cordial glass. Anything else like that. It is a sipping drink because it is, like I said, mostly apple brandy. But it is a sipping drink, and so we're going to pour that into our glass. Okay. Bald Jack Rose. All right. Cheers. Ooh, that's tasty. Tastes like a little cherry lemonade. It's pretty good. So right now, we're going to take a brief break, and when we come back, we're going to check in on our pork roll in a blanket and see what happens when those things are ready to come out of the oven. All right, we're back. Our pork roll in a blanket should be all done. Let's take a peek into the oven and see what we got. Oh, they look beautiful. They're nice and golden brown. At the top, you can see those crescent rolls. The cheese is nice and melted all the way around the pork roll. We're going to pull one off and we're going to take a bite here in just a second. But in the meantime, once again, please like and subscribe to the YouTube page. Follow Sons of Saturday. Follow me at Hokie Hitter. Hokie Hitter for the Rutgers game will be coming out around Wednesday after the game. So please follow along. We'll go over a couple of plays that had some significance or some impact in the game. If something terrible were to happen and we were to lose to Rutgers, we'll try to figure out and better understand the reason as to why. All right, so let's take a peek here. We have the crescent roll. It's been cooking for about 13 minutes. Got a nice golden brown shell. You can see outside the pork roll is nice and warm. It's got the melted provolone cheese around it. We're going to dip it into this honey mustard sauce that we came up with. That's fantastic. If you've never had pork roll, if you've never had Taylor ham, this is a really good excuse to venture out and try something a little bit different. It is a staple of the Garden State, state of New Jersey. Our New Jersey boys, Pat and Billy Ray, are going to be all excited and up for this game. So thanks again for tuning in. This has been 10-Minute Tailgates. I'm Mike Holmes with the Sons of Saturday. Thank you so much. Enjoy your bald Jack Rose. Go Hokies.